Omori is the best game of 2020 you probably didn't play. In a year where AAA seemed to have just a few different kind of releases, from incredible, to buggy, or to delayed, indie games seemed to really shine. But not one of them stood out for me more than Omori. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's Omori. When the world seems to lie and shows you this sign, that's Omori. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing, what the hell? Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, like a sprout more fellas. When life feels the fool, you put away tools, that's Omori. When you dance down the street with your friends at your feet, you're in love. Now, especially after that song, you're probably asking yourself, okay, so what is Omori? Well, Omori is a heavily Mother/Earthbound inspired game. It is commonly described as a surreal, psychological horror RPG, and without talking about the story too much right now, since we'll get to that a little bit later in the video, the game is very much thematically themed around a coming-of-age story focused on the psychological effects of both grief and trauma. Main story themes aside, there is also a ton of charm to this game, especially because of the passion that was put in by the team. Omori was created by the artist Omocat and her team, and was kickstarted back in the year of 2014. They smashed a ton of their Kickstarter goals, ending up with a little over 200,000 USD. And after 6 long years, backers finally got Omori on December 25th, 2020. The game itself is largely hand-drawn by the team, making the sprites and characters have an incredibly unique aesthetic to them in both cutscenes and combat. While the overworld itself is made in RPG Maker, even there the animations that have been given to the characters make them have their own sense of charm, unlike a lot of RPG Maker games. The music in Omori is absolutely fabulous, with some pretty big names like Mishu Smile, Bowen, and Toby Fox, just to name a few. The soundtrack, gameplay, and art grabbed me hard, but not a single thing could have made me more interested in the story. When I look at most indie games, one of the first things I do when staring at the Steam page is scroll down in case there's some sort of mature themes that I can't show on stream, or something that may make me want to tell viewers to stay away in case there's a trigger warning or something of the like. Omori smacks you with the big old, "This game contains depictions of depression, anxiety, and suicide, and may not be suitable for all audiences. It also contains bright, flashing imagery that may cause some discomfort and or seizures for those with photosensitive epilepsy. Viewer discretion is advised." Which made me immediately get some Doki Doki vibes for at least the first half, while the second half is a little bit more standard. But after a solid 2 minutes of watching the trailer and seeing the aesthetic, hearing some of the music, I was hooked and ready to go smacking that purchase button as hard as you should have smacked the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Upon booting up the game, you once again get hit with a big old Doki Doki style warning in case you missed it earlier. Now, before we go any further, because I really suggest you play it, if you want a spoiler-free run, I kind of suggest either stopping watching the video and coming back after you finish the game, or jump into this timestamp. Especially since in order to give you an idea of the story, at least the intro, since I refuse to ruin the main masterpiece of this game by summarizing the entirety, like I will be doing with future Remy Thoughts videos, I kind of suggest doing one of those two things. Anyway, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Still here? Cool! The game starts with our main character, Omori, sitting in a massive white room. There's only a few options we can interact with: a cat, a notebook, and a computer. After interacting with a few objects in the room, like someone who really needs to touch every single item that they can ever see, a door emerges and we go through it. On the other side, we meet some of our main side characters, Aubrey, Hiro, and Kel. After some mild exploration, we find 2 of our friends having a picnic in a playground-like area. Their names are Mari and Basil. After some brief shenanigans, Basil shows us his photo album of the group all having fun. After looking through the photo album, Basil asks us to go to his house as he just planted some sprouts and wants to show everyone. Mari says she wants to sit this one out, and to seek her out at one of her picnics if we feel tired from our journey. Her picnics act as a save location for us and a place to heal, with her being able to give us hints on side quests and story progression. While heading towards Basil's, we get grabbed into a game of hide-and-seek and end up facing our first real round of combat when a bully named Boss kidnaps Basil for him being kicked from the playground by the rest of the kids after being a huge jerk like the week before. After dispatching him quickly and then getting Boss to calm down, we head off towards Basil's house. On our way, we end up getting into a little bit more combat with some lost creatures called Sprout Moles, and we learn about the main gameplay loop in combat. The system is based off of rock, paper, scissors, with the mechanics being very, very similar to that. So, in example, sad is strong against happy, happy is strong against angry, and angry is strong against sad. The emotions also give you a buff and debuff, making it so there's a little bit of extra depth in having any of these emotional states. But it can also make things a little bit of a gamble. The game also has a neutral status that has neither buffs nor debuffs along with it, and there are more serious states, like Afraid, that give you even larger debuffs. Along this way, we encounter a few different plants that Basil planted to describe our group of friends. After dispatching a few more enemies and a very Deku-looking tree kind of dude, we end up at Basil's house. When we get to the house, Basil decides to take a photo of the group, after which we all group up to look at the photo. In order to get a better look, Kel and Aubrey start pushing each other to get a better view, which leads to them bumping into Basil and spilling the photos from the album onto the ground. Once we recollect all the photos, we head inside to put it together. Right after, Basil ends up dropping a photo from the album, and after seeing it, begins to say that what they saw can't be, and Mari's name. We suddenly find ourselves back in the White Room, and the constant sound of a heartbeat. The door is now vanished, and the notebook in the corner now has a new page with what looks like a ghost-like figure. The only option we have now is an option in the menu saying stab. Upon doing so, we stab ourselves and collapse. We see a boy sleeping in his room, and you're given the option to rename the boy from Sunny or keep the same name. We awake in the room, and everything appears to be dark, as if the lights are off. We find a voicemail from the boy's mother detailing that we are going to be moving soon, to a new place, and that hopefully it will be a positive change. After exploring around the house, we end up needing to go downstairs. The staircase is extremely large, and as we go down it, we seem to face some sort of monster that gives us the first Afraid status. After passing the monster with the help of a mysterious voice and a new skill called Calm Down, we've reached the bottom. There we can see that the staircase was not nearly as large as we thought, and we make our way to the kitchen to get ourselves something to eat. We find a steak in the fridge, heat it up, and eat it. We suddenly find ourselves very, very sick, and make our way to the bathroom where, well, we throw up. Then we hear someone knocking at the door. Once we get there, we hear that it's Mari and that she just forgot her keys. After getting a good old-fashioned spook jump at the door, we head back upstairs. And once we lay down, find ourselves back in the white space. Throughout the rest of the game, we end up finding ourselves bouncing between these two worlds, and slowly unraveling one of the best stories in gaming I've seen over the last few years. I could continue to summarize, but anything further past this, I feel like I'm going to end up giving you guys massive spoilers and kind of ruining the experience. So really, I suggest that you play it yourself. If you don't want to do that, we did do a Let's Play of it over on the other channel, but highly, highly recommend playing it, to be honest. You can also find it on the Steam store. I believe it's coming later to the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch later this year. Anyway, please let me know what you thought of this video, especially because it's a little bit different from what we've done recently, and a few other things that I've got in store. Yeah, so let me know what you guys thought. You guys help shape the content, and it helps us out. So, till next time, see ya.